Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, 14th April 2023, and it's exactly 3:03 p.m. in the afternoon. Anthony Tharpe making another insert and following up on previous videos and previous comments. If you've been following my channel, you would have known by now that I pretty much try to stick to not just events that's in the news cycle, but events that have long-term and short-term effects on us as Jamaicans and people generally. But today I'm going to start out with a comment on something I saw on the news was it this morning? I think yesterday. Actually, I don't know when it broke, but I saw it on YouTube where TVJ, I think it was covering a segment where they were interviewing a Jamaican lady who had traveled through Panama or attempted to travel through Panama to get to the US. And I guess she was stopped based on what little I heard. But that's not what's concerning me. What's concerning me is the fact that I don't understand why Panama is trying to stop Jamaicans from coming into Panama. I don't know why. They benefit from people traveling there and getting paid, and nobody's trying to stay in Panama. But I think the US has made arrangement with Central American countries to try and block access for persons trying to get to the US via those areas or avenues, and those countries be better aware and should remember that a large percentage of their per capita income comes from Jamaicans buying their goods and services, and Jamaicans who used to go there on a regular basis, vendors and all of that, to buy stuff to come back here to sell or in Jamaica. So you better be aware how you're treating Jamaicans. And I'm saying that because no Panamanian government has any right to be stopping Jamaicans from coming into Panama, especially when they're just in transit. That's a US problem. That's a US thing to do. And if you're going to take on those issues, then we have to come with countermeasures to say we're going to boycott your goods and your services and stop coming to Panama. We don't have to come through Panama or go to Panama to try to get to the US, illegally or not, formally or not. And if people want to try to get to the US, that's their business. Where you get off trying to stop Jamaicans from coming into the US? You're Panama. You're part of the US jurisdiction now? Or you're part of the US colony now? I don't think so. I think Noriega pretty much decided that when the US taught him a lesson. You're not a part of the United States of America. And I'll say the same thing to Mexico. I know you're trying to play up to the US government, but the reality is the US government has a responsibility to Caribbean people. They do. We consume most of the goods and services that we get from them. We travel here, we spend a lot of money, and we have a large percentage of Caribbean people living in the US, millions and millions, and they deserve their relatives to come up as well. And US immigration policy has been so severe or harsh against Caribbean people. You wonder why? Because Caribbean people come there, they work, they contribute positively to the US economy, and so those things must be taken into effect. But we know the old racism nonsense. We know those racists who sit there and try to block anybody of color as if they have a right to stop people from coming in the US when they themselves are immigrants or descendants of immigrants. And if anybody has a right to be in the US, it's the people who came there and slaved to build the US. And those people also involve the Caribbean people who ended up in the Carolinas, the Geechees, all of them people are people who came out of the Caribbean, rice planters, came out of West Africa through the Caribbean into the Carolinas. And we've been in the US working and building the US for decades. We have people in the military fighting and dying in the military to protect the US and the Caribbean and free countries. So I don't know why this hostile measure is out there. And what's more offensive is that I don't see a lot of Caribbean countries and their governments addressing it or speaking out. But we are expected to be so loyal to the US. And we should be, because the US is our greatest protector, because they're part of us. I mean, you literally can jump in a canoe and row yourself to the US. You're in the Bahamas, same thing. Anywhere in the Caribbean, it's an easy travel path to the US. And the US should start taking care of Caribbean people and realize that they're assets to the US rather than burden and a burden on the economy of the US. When we are building the US, we provide safe haven, a safe travel destination for US citizens. We treat them with respect, because we don't see them only as people to be exploited, but we respect them as people. And Jamaicans and Caribbean people need to start commanding that respect. And I'm going to address this lady that's from the Jamaican consulate, I think in Miami or somewhere. I don't know what her name is. Short hair or cropped hair, light skin, making a public statement about not that the threat or the dangers to these people going into the US or trying to get to the US via Panama or any other country, and the dangers they face and why they're trying to get out of Jamaica in the first place. But her main concern was the passport, talking about the value of the Jamaican passport because it's going to lose value, in short. And I'm paraphrasing, not using her exact words. In short, she was more concerned about how people are going to see Jamaica and the Jamaican passport, and how it's going to affect other people traveling legitimately to the US using a Jamaican passport. Again, all nonsensical arguments, because people traveling legitimate to the US on a Jamaican passport have no issues. The US government has no issues with that. So be focusing, for the Jamaican government to be focusing on the passport and the value of the passport and legitimate people. Remember the term legitimate. Those people are legitimate because they have visas coming back into the US or going back and forth to the US. And the US has no issues with those. In fact, the US policy is, if you want to get here, do it through the legal means. And I am saying I have no issues with that. What I am saying is that the legal means of getting to the US for Caribbean people, especially Caribbean people, should be less stringent, less horrific, and less burdensome on a people who truly believe in building the US or working in the US and providing the labor that the US needs. Because a lot of the jobs that Caribbean people go in the US to do are jobs that nobody wants to do, or they don't have the qualified persons to do it. We have a large contingent of nurses and educators who get to the US and they don't get there and sleep on the job, that they are working and building the US economy. We have a lot of people who go there who aren't educated teachers or don't have any big certificate also. Who do you think the majority of those people are? They come up, they work, they provide labor, they provide skilled labor that the US is in need of. And what the Jamaican government or Caribbean government should be doing, rather than worrying about a passport, some pieces of paper stuck together with a stamp on it, worrying about passport, worry about the people who are so desperate they're willing to risk their lives and limbs to get to the US. Worry about the people who are traveling with their last dollar to get to South America and then crawl up through dangerous countries where they can be killed, massacred, you name it. The worst possible thing that could happen to human beings happen on those routes getting into the US. And rather than saying to people, listen, the dangers are there, don't do it because it's dangerous, you're talking about a passport. And what's even more offensive, what is it that the Jamaican government is doing to ensure that people know they don't have to take risky measures to escape Jamaica? Because that's what they're doing. The vast majority of people are so desperate that they go to those means to get out of Jamaica are desperate, they're escaping because they don't have any hope, they don't see any destiny for their children or themselves, and they're getting up in age. This lady was, I think, 50 something that they were interviewing. So it's no puppy. This lady was up in her 50s or so, they say, working her butt off illegally through dangerous territory, jungles, and human, you call it, all kind of mayhem to get to the US, and you're just concerned about a passport. And I pose the question again: what is it that you are doing to make Jamaicans know we don't have to do this? There was a time when a lot of Jamaicans didn't even think of leaving Jamaica. Why? Because they could live a good, safe life. Now you're in Jamaica, it's either you can't survive because of the economics, inflation, in escalation in life, in cost of living is so much that people can't afford it. Why do you think you have so many people thieving and robbing and scamming? I just heard that there was another robbery at JN. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. I heard that they arrested 15 or 17 people from is it Separate or one of those places, and some are on the run for scamming the company of hundred something billion or million dollars. Why do you think Jamaica is producing so many thieves and crooks and scammers? Because the Jamaican government and our politicians are failing at delivering what they've committed themselves to do. And they're failing because the objective of government is to make your country the best country on the planet, so your citizens don't have to be running away or taking dangerous trips to escape. And I use the term escape. It's like you're living in a living prison there, and you're so hopeless that you have to try to escape. And I'm going to press the point home and mention or remind persons who are listening this that I have been consistently saying to everybody that's listening this, including government officials who are not peeping in this on this channel and listening. All of you are keeping quiet. All these government officials are keeping quiet on issues that could build the Jamaican economy and stop Jamaicans from trying to escape from Jamaica through dangerous means, leaving their family behind, leaving their children behind. But you don't find time to comment on the corruption and the factual, proven, evidence-based corruption that I have been putting out there for the last couple of weeks, if not months. You don't comment on it. You don't comment on the fact that the corruption in the Supreme Court and the Appeals Court have been stopping billions of dollars from coming into the Jamaican economy to build infrastructure. All we're hearing about is the Chinese highways, which is good. It's good that we're getting those highways. But those come at a price to the economy. And here you have people who are Jamaicans, who are investors interested in investing their money into the country, and we're the ones that are getting flack. And you don't have time to talk about the corruption that's stopping that. You're not talking about the fact that we've provided you and the government and everybody with evidence to say you have people like Justice Morrison, Justice Anderson, Justice Sykes, and the Supreme Court that have taken measures to block money coming into this country. And no matter if it's directly or indirectly, their actions spell corruption. John Graham, Alexis Robinson from Myers, Fletcher and Gordon, and you name them. They're taking measures that block people from developing this economy. I was in the appeals court a couple of weeks ago, and if you ever hear the nonsense, the nonsense. I mentioned the nonsense about the ruling that developers are now classed as illegal operators because judges decide they want to just make their own rules to try to punish me, I guess. In trying to punish me, they're destroying the Jamaican economy. And you don't hear anybody out there in government talking about that. Why they're not talking about the matters we've been addressing? But you're going to talk about Jamaicans who are so desperate, swimming in shark waters, probably in canoes, trying to get to South America, then traveling up through the South American or Central American countries to get to the United States. And when they get there, they're either turned back, they're subject to human trafficking, and you name it. horrible, horrible situations. And rather than finding ways to deal with that, you're going to talk about a passport. Have you ever thought of creating programs where you identify jobs that are demanded or needed to be filled in the US, training Jamaicans and letting them find legal ways to get to the US because they've been offered training programs in Jamaica to qualify them for those jobs? No. You don't find the Jamaican government doing any of that. All we're talking about is blocking nurses and blocking teachers. And if you block them nurses and teachers from going into the US or any other markets to go and work, what do you think you're doing to the Jamaican economy? For one, you're contributing to the overpopulation of Jamaica. You're contributing to people who are qualified and living in Jamaica who don't have a means of survival because you don't have the money to pay them. Right now, teachers, civil servants, police, soldiers, all of them are out there desperate to get their pay, their back pay and all of that kind of stuff. Every day you hear about it. You hear about government not paying out this, not paying out that. You're shortchanging people. Yet you're pulling money out of people's salary. Inflation is sky high. The Jamaican dollar is worth zero to anybody trying to make progress on the world scene. That's why they're trying to escape. And the Jamaican government, the spokesperson for the Jamaican government, I don't know if they're trying to patronize the US and say, oh, we're trying our best to stop this. No, Jamaican government needs to play any role in stopping people from escaping from Jamaica. That's not your role. If they escape and they're coming through Central America, it's not the Panamanian government to stop them because they're only transiting. They're going and spending money in Panama and then traveling up to the US. It's for the US authorities to execute their policies when they catch them, if they catch them, if they don't allow them in for whatever means. And the US has programs that when people get there, they can apply for visas. If they get turned down, then fine, they have a free flight home. The lady says she's going to try again. That's dangerous. And I would say to persons who are doing that, instead of taking all that money that you're using to take those trips, those dangerous trips, take the money, find some way to do online courses. Use that money to pay universities in the US to do online courses. Now you get qualified in whatever area or field that you know is in demand in these economies and markets. Then after you spend all that money and get qualified, then you go apply for a visa. If you're qualified, you can get into Canada. If you're qualified, you can get into the US. And if you're 50 plus years, it no matter. The US is not one of those countries who punish you because of your age. If you're qualified and you're a good citizen, a good person to build the country and make sure the country is in good standing in terms of its social policy, its economics, crime, and all of that, the US is not going to stop you from coming in if you're qualified or you meet certain qualifications. And I would submit that you should contact immigration attorneys in the US and speak to them. A lot of them charge a consultancy fee, yes, but it's better you pay $200-300 to talk to an attorney and they outline your options so that you can say, you know what, rather than spend $10,000 US to try to get here and I don't get through, you pay somebody $300 or $200 or $150 to let them advise you and say what's the best course of action. Now they have opportunities to come in the US based on your job, based on investments in the US, based on even things like human rights. I am not the person to give you legal advice, and I'm not giving, but what I'm saying to you is talk to immigration attorneys. One of the best immigration attorneys I know, and she works with people from South America, from all over the world, and she's not going to give you any ill advice. As I said, there's a consultancy fee. I don't know what it is. I think it's, last time I checked, it was 150 US dollars. Could be more, but if you have if you're qualified to be in the US on any existing legal means, then she's going to direct you in the route to take. She's not going to do anything illegal. So if you are a person involved in crime and violence and all of that mess, she's not going to deal with you because she wants to focus on law-abiding people. All right. So as I said, Oh, I didn't give you the name. ST Law. That's Sherifa Tharpe. That's my daughter. And I'm saying it because I've seen her with her clients. She fly all over the country. If she has a client in Washington, in California, wherever in the US she has a client, when they're going for their papers, she don't just tell them to go down there by themselves. She set up her whole program that she goes and travels with them down there and going to court or going to the immigration interview with them and sit with them so that she can directly address it. Because a lot of people who are going into these interviews, they're so nervous, even though they shouldn't be, but they're so nervous, they need that support. And she's one of the only immigration lawyers I know does that. Because I use immigration lawyers, and friends I know use immigration lawyers, and they didn't travel all over the island, all over the country to be with the client at their interviews. She also will have her staff contact you to see how you're doing, follow up on stuff and so. So she does a good job. And the reason I'm saying this is because, as you know, I've been on these videos for quite a while, and I've never mentioned that. In fact, typically I don't mention her in my business operations. But when I heard that lady just talking about a passport, rather than addressing and providing Jamaicans who are trying to get to the US illegally or legally with information that will say to them, I have this, I know this is going to happen or not going to happen, so I won't go into the US via this means. Instead of taking that $10,000 or $15,000 or even $20,000 that they're paying, what they call coyotes or illegal transporters or people smugglers to get them to the US. Find out how you could get there legally. Instead of doing that and being deported 3-4 times over a 5-6 year period and developing a record that when you do go for your interview, you're in trouble, you're not going to get that visa. Work your way up legally. Take the money that you're paying these people, go lease a piece of land in the country and raise chicken, plant banana. A year is like $500 for a hand of banana. Ripe some banana, sell the banana, build up your financial standing, build your account so you have cash and money. When you have that, you use that now and say get training. And when I say get training, the Jamaican government can launch major programs to give people training in the arts, craft, carpentry, plumbing, welding, masonry, because those people are always in demand in the US. You see all them houses will get blown down when they have tornadoes and so. You're smart, you're in the US, you can get jobs in those areas. Just in New York City alone, they have so many opportunities for people with skills, carpentry, cabinet making, because people are always remodeling their homes, fixing their homes, changing out windows. Plumbers are in demand because the average homeowner here, though intelligent, though smart, though have a lot of money, don't have either the time or they don't want to take the time to do these things for themselves. That's where you come in. So instead of breaking your neck and risking it to come to the US via those means, get the training. Take the time to go get the training. It's easier to get trained over a 15-month period or even less. Develop your skills so when you come and people say you're qualified, you're really qualified. Don't end up like them masons where they have a Jamaica or carpenter what can't read a scale, what can't read a plumb line. They don't even know what a plumb line is. Get a mason and know how to lay a block. If you can't lay a block, you can't lay bricks. But the point I am making is Jamaicans, Caribbean people want to get to the US, stop doing it illegally. Stop risking your life. And I know sometimes you're desperate, but there are ways through legal means even when you're desperate. If you're in Jamaica and you're having human rights issues, then there are laws in the immigration sector or in immigration laws that can get you out of there. As I said, speak to an attorney. My daughter is ST Law. I don't know the phone number. ST Law. Look it up online and book with her to get consultation. And you see, she's going to give you the best advice, whether it makes sense for you to do it or not. And nobody go call her to try negotiate for 150 when you not jump and risk on your life for $10,000-$15,000. Immigration lawyers, when you talk to them, pray you get a good one. Because some of them just out there to milk you, like them are scammers too. A lot of them. They take your money. I remember a lot of people that I knew before I came to the US. When I came to the US, I got my permanent residence within months of being here. Why? Because I made sure I found a good immigration lawyer. And that immigration lawyer, when I went and sat down, they tell me point for point how they're going to work this, how they're going to do this, whether I'm qualified, what I can do, what I can't do. Can I pick up my visa in the US? Can I pick it up? Do I have to pick it up in Jamaica? I learned a lot. I didn't have to pick up a visa in Jamaica, which a lot of immigration laws used to set up people where, they set it up so you have to pick it up in Jamaica. You go down there, you have all kind of headaches, you never get your visa, or it take months or years to get it before you can come out. My attorney went through all of that. I didn't even have to go down and line up on any lines, because you could also walk in on a line and join a line and apply for the visa then and there. He did everything. And the point I'm making is, speak to an immigration lawyer that can advise you. If you can't come based on your standing right now, then go get qualified. All you guys graduating from the university or from high school, and I'm saying high school because from high school you can get trained in carpentry, in welding, and you know something that a lot of people don't know, get your CDL license, your truck driver's license, tractor trailer license. Every person that's trying to get to the US, whether you're a nurse, doctor, or whatever, try to get a professional driver's license. Because when you have a tractor trailer driver's license, you can get jobs in Canada, in the US. And if you have jobs, you have people who need drivers, you can get sponsored through those programs to get your visa. Alright? People who can cook, who are chefs, if you don't have a piece of paper saying you qualify as a chef, go down and pressure the government and say, start a program where HART can qualify me as being trained as a chef. Because people with restaurants, including Caribbean restaurants, sometimes need persons who they can't get here. But make sure you can cook before you come, because guess what? I come to Jamaica and it's some of the worst Jamaican food I get to eat. Seriously. I am in the US, in Florida, in New York, and I know everybody in Florida cook good food either, you know. But you have some Jamaican restaurants in Florida, and I know New York, and some of the best Caribbean food you can get, whether it's Jamaican, and I eat mostly Jamaican, Haitian, but some of the best food. I don't know about Haitian food in Haiti, but a lot of you guys who say you can cook and have restaurants at Jamaica, and I come there and eat, I only eat because I'm hungry and I don't have any options. But when I'm in the US, I can get the best oxtail, the best jerk, the best chicken, the best everything Jamaican style. And whether, you know, I've always said they have some people now who cook stew chicken and they put ketchup in there, or even oxtail. Even them people, when they cook good. But you can get the traditional stuff. Stew peas. I just left a restaurant a while ago. A goat head soup, manish water. Tomorrow they have stew peas. Today they have cow foot. I come to Jamaica and get cow foot and it not taste, or I may eat this piece of rubber. So the point I'm making is, get qualified, get trained. Make sure you really can cook if you say you're a cook. Make sure you can really do hair if you say you're doing hair, you're a hairdresser. Get qualified there, but also find a way to get licensed in the US if you can do it before you get here. Do their programs, get trained, get the qualification. Because hairdressers and people in the cosmetic industry, they make a ton of money. You can be independent when you get here. You never have to go out and go get anybody a station at anybody place. You might do that because you're just coming and you want to pick up a workstation in somebody's salon, and you go there and work your way till you can open your own. But a lot of people who do hair and braiding and all of that, they work from home, or they go to people's houses, their clients, and do their hair and do their thing, and they make a lot of money. In short, I have just detailed to you that you can come to the US by legal means. First of all, talk to an attorney. ST Law, Sherifa, Sharifa Tharpe. I'm not doing any advertisement. I'm just telling you a good attorney that you could talk to. I'm not paid to do this. So talk to ST Law, Sherifa Tharpe. Sherifa Tharpe. ST Law. As I said, look up the number. It's online. I don't know what the number is. Maybe when I get a chance, I'll call her and get the number and put it in. But call her, because I'm not trying to advertise for her. That said, she works all over the US. Anywhere in the US, she's stationed in Florida, but she talked to you because she's a federal attorney. All right, so she's nationwide. She does federal that, and she does taxes and estate planning, but that's her pet peeve, immigration, and she's very good at what she does. All right, so talk to her about before you spend 10, 15, 20,000 coming in illegally. If you want to come in and you don't have 15, 20 years to wait on your relatives to sponsor you until they change US policy, then what you do, get qualified online. They have a whole bunch of online school, and make sure you check out the ones that are legitimate. Go to legitimate colleges and universities, get qualified, because you have a whole bunch of scammers. They talk about Jamaican scammers. The capital for scammers is in the US. Jamaicans who down there play about them as scammers, they don't know nothing about scamming. Alright? Jamaicans learn scamming from US scammers. They don't fall for that nonsense about Jamaica is capital of scammers. No. They distract everybody else by pointing out Jamaicans. Before it was Nigerians. But they had more people in the US doing lottery scams and sweepstakes scams, because sweepstakes scam is basically lottery scamming. They have the travel scam where they call you want a trip? Oh man, they used to kill you with that. Sweepstake, lotto, travel, and what they do now, they'll do research on you because they have the internet. They do research on people, get everything about them, just like them people who do palm reading or your business. But they do the research on people now. When people come there, you set up an appointment with them. They'll research you, look you up, check out everything about you. And when you come there, they say, oh, you had an uncle that died 6 weeks ago, and I'm seeing him in the corner over there. They done research for you. Use your head. Stop being silly and stop wasting your money on people who are just out there to scam you. In short, don't fall prey to scams. Check out and make sure everybody you're dealing with are legit. You can verify it. Call US regulators and check out places, businesses, the Better Business Bureau. Go online and check them out. Call them. Find out from US law enforcement agencies about this agency, about this company, and before you spend your money with them. And stop giving your money to people who take your bush and nobody not hear from you again. You're in a desert, starve or die from thirst. Nobody not hear from you. You know how much bodies they found in Mexico there they bury up? And they were searching for them kids for decades. But you know how much bodies they find along those routes you're taking on a regular basis? Because what? You're desperate, yes, but don't make desperation cause you to lose your life, because then it makes no sense. When you are gone and you abandon your family and your kids in Jamaica, who going to take care of them? You left them there to get abused. You left them there so that they end up being trafficked. Alright. Trafficked. Alright? So think about things before you do it. Life is tough. It's hard, but you can find ways to survive. As I said, lose your pride. Drive up to the country. Make arrangements with farmers who can come down to the market, buy banana from them, carry down and sell it at a markup. Yam the same thing. The same thing market people do. You know, market women are reputable business people when they're in West Africa. A lot of people look at market people and market women and market men as if, well, they're nothing. They're one of the most important segment or sector of the economy. Them people in the market, if you don't have them delivering the goods, being the middleman or in transition, the goods from the transition the good from the farmer to your table, then you starve. Alright? They save you the trip of going out to the country for buy the stuff. And yes, food prices fluctuate and all of that. A lot of the times it's not their fault. Them are middle people. And you're stuck with that. And until you start producing. You have your yard, you have one little place, plant a banana tree. Plant some coconut tree, plant some cocoa, plant some yam. You're frightened for know a little space you need to grow yam and sweet potato and okra and what you call that thing there again? One they cut up and people used to eat as salad. Cucumber. Some people call it squash or whatever now. You know, they grow, run on your fence instead of having bush running on your fence. Plant those things. It subsidizes your income and you take that saving from going to the market and put it somewhere. Before you know it, you can turn it over in something that makes you money. Be creative. African and African descendants are some of the most creative minds you have on the planet. Be business people. Be encouraged and motivated by them Chinese and Koreans and all of them you see coming into Jamaica and third world market and building millions and millions, becoming millionaires being there. If they can come there and do it, why don't you get together with, I put an ad in the paper and advertise for people who want to run to Panama and have money to pay coyotes to risk their life. Pool the money, buy goods and open one little place and sell the thing and make a profit, mark up and grow the business, grow the retail, grow the wholesale. Stop waiting for government to get handouts. Government, all them do is fatten their pockets. They're no business with you. You hire and you put government in place to run government. But what they do? They fatten their pockets and to hell with you. You must find a way to survive. And you know who they're coming for money to put in their pockets? You. So be creative. Not look at the Chinese that are there and cuss them out and say they're coming to take everything. They're coming to fill a void because we're not filling it as a people. If we want roads and you want to tell me say you have all this money in Jamaica, all these people who are skilled in Jamaica, you send them go to university and get engineering, get trained in engineering, and then come on and we can't build a road? Come on. Yet when them same engineers come up and get jobs, they do the best jobs. But because the corruption and so the Jamaica, everybody who out there contractor and work for government, all them I look for is how we can mark up the hammer from $10 to $500. How we can, a friend of mine was saying she work at one of these hotels, or used to work at one of these hotels, and the contractor come in there, and it wasn't some Jamaican contractor, it was one of the expats who came from Europe and worked there, and him knock heads with the local people and stop rip off the hotel. So when they were doing remodeling, they would buy cloth or textile for the hotel for $7 and sell it back to the hotel for $29. Now if you are working independently and you're an independent contractor, sure, you buy your stuff, you mark it up, that's business. But when you're an employee of the person you're working with and you're supposed to buy the stuff and put it into play, then you're a thief, you rob the person and don't feel good about it. And anybody in Jamaica that figure when they rip off people like that or rip off businesses like that, they're getting away or they're getting over and oh, they're so smart. No, you're a damn thief. You're a thief, just like Jack and the Beanstalk. Jack go up and climb the beanstalk and go up there and rob the giant them, and when the giant come after them then kill off the giant and say the giant wrong. Jack climbed the beanstalk and go up there and rob the giant golden hen or lay golden egg and come back down, sell it, make money and feel good. When the giant them decide so we have to stop it, them kill and we celebrate, say Jack is a good person. Jack is nothing but a dirty thief. And we have to stop celebrating when people commit crimes against other people and take their stuff. Alright? In short, gain some moral standing in our lives, in your life, so that you measure everything you do with ethics, and you want to maintain that throughout your life. Because when you can do that, your kids come up, they respect you, the kids follow the right path. They not end up going on thieving from Sagicor or thieving from NCB or thieving from what the place name, the one who do the separate or whatever the name. They not drive around and rob Brinks truck or armored vehicle or rob ATM and feel say that's good. That's a dead end life. You're going to get taken out for doing that. And a short term thinking. Just like the person who risk them life, take whatever boat them can or canoe or plane, take all the money what them have, fly to Panama where Panama treat them like dirt. Them have to come out now, and if they even come off and get a chance to walk through Panama or take a bus up to the other countries or through the other countries, when they get to the US border, they get, if they get there, if they not end up in some dust grave where coyotes and scammers and swindlers and you name it out there that are there to rob them and take what them have, including their life, when they get to the US, they might get through. Why you want to gamble with might? Why not work on a certain plan? And while you're working on that plan, still maintain your dignity and your economics in Jamaica and your economy. Build your economy in Jamaica. So when you do get the opportunity to leave and go, then you have money in your pocket. Stop taking your money and go buy Mercedes, Benz and Audis and the most expensive vehicle in the used car lots. Just for show. Because I'm coming into Jamaica and I'm wondering, Mercedes or used Benz or so will sell for more than what you can get one in the US for. People down there buying it. For profile, that's the word I use, profile. Now you tell me no. Here's a person struggling. I have a small family, a young family. Not have a house yet, but then a profile, some high-end vehicle and show off. And again, it goes out to all them people who even risk their lives committing crime and scamming people. I saw a video. This guy drive around and saw flash money. Whoa. Who you trying to impress? Because the people you try to impress and the people you want to hang with in the first place. And the people who want to go down to your level after they see the little bit of money where you show are people you don't want to be with anywhere, hang with because they're going to pull you down. And if you're from an upper class family or a middle class family, you're not proving anything by becoming a criminal. Nobody is impressed. Now, your family not impressed. The people you think see you doing it and say, oh, the Risto boy, I do that, and then use the term Risto again anyway. I don't even know. But the point is, stop. Think serious about what you're doing before you do it. If it's about living and living the best life possible, if you want to be able to get on a plane what you might own, because you make your plans where you can buy your own plane, buy your own boat, sail all over the world, fly to Africa, fly to Europe, fly to the US, fly to Canada, because you're independent and you have your resources where they treat you with respect, you can do it. And we're not talking about people because them have some piece of degree from some university. That's all it is, a piece of paper. If you not put what you learn to use, then it's not going to be of any good to you or the country or your people around you. And the other thing is, a lot of them people who have them papers, they come out and they know less than the man in the street. They must actually go back to the university of hard knocks on the street. Practical experience. That's who you know when you see people like that make it. then you know them people never get duped or then try to dupe nobody or fool nobody. They worked smart. And I even talk about work hard. When you work smart, obviously depending on what area you're working in, that's a given. But work smart, and working smart is stop falling for the garbage government spit out about value of passport. In the first place, most countries around the world now have no respect for Jamaican passport. They might respect the Jamaican people. They have no respect for the Jamaican passport. Because when you pull out that passport, anywhere in the world, if they require a visa, when you go and travel and you say you're Jamaican and they ask you the passport, they put you through so much ropes. What kind of respect is that? But that's what government emphasize. The passport. When I hear that lady who opened her mouth once and said, oh, we're coming up with solutions that will make these people respect you and they don't deport you. I don't hear she come up and say, I am going to call the Panamanian government and address why Jamaicans are being denied visas. Which is what most countries would do. But no, you're not working for the Jamaican people as usual. And I said, granted, you're going to have people who are going to take the alternate route all the time. However, your job as a government is not to worry about them, but to make sure that whether they're creating or going the alternate route, they get safe passage and not being abused and human rights are being respected. When Americans get caught in other countries doing crimes or committing crimes, or you think the U.S. government abandon them? The U.S. government makes sure that their rights are respected and they're protected. So it's not about piece of paper or what you carry as a passport. Is how are these persons protected? So Miss Government Official, Jamaican government official, address those issues first. Address those Jamaicans or Caribbean people. And when you speak for Jamaicans, you speak for Caribbean people too. We have to start recognizing, say, the Caribbean are one little basin and everybody in there is subject to the same kind of policy from the US or anybody else around. When you find countries start disrespecting one, they're going to disrespect all. So guess what? When you speak and you're speaking on behalf of the government, your job is to take measures to protect your people. You're going to find out from Panama or Mexico, anybody else who are denying Jamaicans visas to say why. They're coming into your country and creating any kind of issues. And if they're not doing that, then guess what? The next move is to say, whatever products and services we're getting from you, we're going to put tax money, we're going to levy all kind of fees on it, and we're going to discourage our Jamaican and the Caribbean people from buying your goods and services. We're going to stop coming there for vacation. We're going to stop coming there for education. We're going to stop coming over there and buy goods and services that we take back to the Caribbean to sell because you're stepping over your bounds. You're crossing the line. You have no right to deny Jamaicans visas because they want to get to the US. Alright? If they were coming over there and creating problems in your country, I could understand. But even then, make sure you catch the people who are coming to create problems. Give them the visa, and when they start get trouble, then you catch them and you deport them. That's how you do it. You know, reject us or turn us back at the port and cause people all this headache. Or even deny them visa before they even leave. Because you're determining that these people coming are criminals. That's what you're doing. And the Jamaican government must address that. Caribbean governments must address it. As I say, no matter if 1 or 2 or 3 of them go and skip and try run the route, if they get caught, they get caught. But that's not the Panamanian government or any other government to stop them from trying to get to the US when they're not committing no crime in Panama. It's always something else. So I thought I'd comment on that. And again, I'll complete this by saying the Jamaican government, the officials, none of them to date has made any response or comments on the videos I've been putting out where I've provided evidence that not only there is fraud going on, but judges are abusing their discretion. Them are violate the law, because no judge of Jamaica can make law right law. And if they don't follow the law, they're breaking it. That's just logic. If they're breaking the law, they're committing a crime. And because they're judges, they think they're free from prosecution. No, nobody in Jamaica is above the law. So we have to go find ways to make sure those laws are enforced. And as I said to everybody that's listening this, God willing and give me time, we're coming up with programs to deal with it. So I think I'm just talking now, because apparently people not coming up and say, guess what, Mr. T, make we get together and come up with a plan. A lot of people just like to know what's going on. They listen to it, but to invest the time, they don't want to do it. And I can't understand, because like I said, here's this woman talking about Jamaicans mustn't do this because of the passport. And you're not addressing what is it? What's so desperate in Jamaica? What's so critical in Jamaica to force people to want to risk their lives on missions like this? And a lot of them go on those missions and fail. And they fail their families because the families are left without a parent or a loved one, because them so desperate, them have to risk their lives to get out of Jamaica. Jamaica is seriously on the verge of collapse, the economy. And unless we get this corruption cleaned up, where people like myself and other investors out there and Jamaicans out there who want to put money in Jamaica will have the opportunity to do just that. Not because they have to, or not because we have to, but because we choose to. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference. Alright? So I'm going to end it here. I'm going to follow through. I'm working on some stuff, as I told you, going through all the structure, our business plans on it and how we're going to proceed. But we have to stand up. Every Jamaican that's out there. And the reason I'm telling you, in the US, you don't have to go back to Jamaica. You don't need to go back to Jamaica, but always have an alternate plan of action. What if one day something pop and you need somewhere to run to? That rock in the Caribbean is yours. Nobody can fling you off it or deport you. But what if you need safe harbor one day? You can't wait until the country in a chaos like Haiti. We have to address it now and try to fix it now. Work to fix it now. It can be done, and not let it slide to the point where getting back is extremely difficult. Getting back to civil society or civilized living or peaceful living or crime-free living is too difficult. We need to act now, and we need to make, again, the government know they're going to follow instructions and orders from their people. We're not going to sit down and accept them doing what they want to do when they don't know what they're doing, they're incapable of doing, and don't have the courage to step out of them shell and say, we don't know what we're doing, we need help. In the meantime, they're crashing an island that has the potential and capabilities of being a very successful economy. And again, I encourage persons to get out of Jamaica, not only for the experience, but Jamaica can't sustain unchecked population growth. You have more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica now, I believe, than living in Jamaica. And that's because of migration. But when you migrate, people want you because you're a valuable asset to their country. If they don't see you have anything to contribute, nobody wants you there. It's like you have somebody come at your house to visit and they end up staying and being a dead end or a deadbeat person just sitting on your sofa eating your food. You don't want them there. It's the same thing. If you have somebody who come in there and destroy your home and destroy the peace of your home, you don't want them in there. And it's the same thing. So we have to think about places like the US, Canada and other countries like that. If you're merely coming there to be a problem, nobody wants you. My growth is, don't determine that a person is a problem before they prove themselves that. And that's what they've been doing with immigration policy and programs, especially against black people. I'm going to say against black people. Against black people. And we need to change it. We need to assert who we are Because not only are we Caribbean people, but every one of us, well, I won't say everyone, most of us who are in the Caribbean came out of Africa. And we came and we built the Caribbean. We occupy these territories. We occupy these lands. And the assets and resources that are there, we need to build on them. We need to control them. We work in the US. We empower the country. We need to be respected and given as much opportunity as is available. But we're not going to get it until we start showing the world that we don't need them. They need us. And the only way to do that is to prove that you're valuable. Get educated. And I said, they're blocking you from going to the University of the West Indies. You can't afford it. Guess what? It might be cheaper for you to take the money and get a course work somewhere from a university online up here. And then when you come up and you get a job and you get your permanent residence or your work permit, then you go to school and get qualified the way you should. In a tech, it's not something that will detract from who you are if you take 10 years to get your degree as a doctor. Come up via any means, legally of course, then go to school if you can't afford to go to school in Jamaica. Get qualified in skill areas that are needed, and typically do the research online. What skill areas are needed in the US that doesn't take a long time to get training in? Carpentry. You don't need no university. In fact, most universities don't even offer that, but yet it's one of the most demanded professions you have out there. Welding, same thing. Plumbing, same thing. Electrical, the same thing. Well, depending on what level you're going with electrical, but you can get into the field of electrical work without having a degree, but you have the training and the qualification. And that's what the Jamaican government should be focusing on. As I said to you, one of the things that most people that's coming into the US or any country should have or must have is a driver's license. Know how to drive. You can drive Uber, you can drive taxi, you can start your own business or pick up and deliver food, you can drive tractor trailers, you name it. Driving is a position that will always be demanded. And them have some people who in Jamaica hear you running a taxi or car service. Don't worry about them. When them are doctors and nurses and lawyers down there, you make more money than them. So don't worry about that. And you have your hours. One of the biggest paying jobs that. And guess what? You can eventually open your own independent service. And always come to the US or Canada or anywhere you go. The UK, any country you go. Go there with the intention, say, you're not going to work for anybody for the rest of your life. You're going to go there and find a business to open up and get into. Because that's where the real power is. Alright? Thank you. Have a great weekend. And hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow. But again, make sure you understand who you are. Look in the mirror. Study yourself. Study the things you've been doing. Am I doing it correctly? Can I learn from other people? Go online and read up. Read up as much as you can. But at the same time, don't spend the rest of your life online surfing. Because a whole bunch of that people get there and can't get back out of it. They spend the whole of the time going over Facebook. The rest of the day, whole day, night, can't sleep. Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp. What the other one name that they're trying to get rid of? Anyway, don't end up doing that. Find time to invest in yourself and invest in your community that's profitable and will build your economy, build your family, and give you the security you want for the rest of your life. Thanks a lot. Have a good one and talk to you soon.